I mean, it doesn't even matter because you've already, hey.
Yeah. And I'll introduce you also. And I'm also going to record it in here. So we'll have a recording link to share it other ways.
And I think we're live.
Yes, we are. All right. Let me hit the record in here.
We're official.
We are official. Hey, so this is Christy Mattoon from Mind Rewire. As always, I'm excited to be here with you. I'm trying to figure out how to turn down the volume on the other side over there. It sounds like it died out. All right. Can you hear the echo?
Yes.
We're trying to figure this out, guys. So give me a little bit of grace.
Of course.
Let's see here. I'm just gonna turn that off. Okay, that should handle that, hopefully. All right, so what we're here talking about today and who I'm here with, this is Lalaine. Say your last name for me. I don't want to slaughter it.
Oh, Moreira. Lalaine Moreira with Pendulum Lightworks.
I would have messed that one up. Yep, so this is Lalaine from Pendulum Lightworks. She owns a company where she works and coaches people. And I'll drop her information below this video when we're done in case you want to contact her. Also has a channel on Awoken TV. So check her out there. You can see some of her work on the Facebook channel through Awoken TV. And we can also throw that underneath this video when it's done. But what I want to talk about today specifically, I've worked with Lalaine for a little while now and watched a lot of changes with her. And one of the things I've heard her talk about multiple times, which just excites me to no end, is her children. And so what we're talking about specifically is heart coherence in your kids and how to do that. I've had so many people ask me, what are you doing with kids? What are you teaching kids? How do you teach kids? And because you've actually taught your kids heart coherence and have seen some activity and some results, I thought this would be the best way to get people more information. So tell me a little bit about, first of all, your kids. What are their ages? What have you taught them previously? And then we'll kind of move from there.
Okay. So I have a 21-year-old son and an 11-year-old son. And you can imagine their stages right now. Like one is approaching that hormonal phase, and then the one is wrapping up his hormonal phase, and the 21-year-old is in that I'm going to call it an era, but basically a period where he's still trying to find himself. He knows what he wants, but he's still trying to figure that out, trying to solidify. And my little one, not so little, he's 11. He's as tall as me, but then again, I'm a small person. So anyways, he is approaching that. He's kind of testing his authority, sort of like, no, I don't want to go to sleep, things of that nature. So that just to give you a glimpse of what is going on with him right now. And so regarding heart coherence, because I practice heart coherence, not only daily, but sometimes if I'm entering into like new ventures, then I'll go back to doing heart coherence every hour on the hour. And they've seen results, they've felt the peace at home. And so they became curious and started off with my husband. I know we're talking about kids, but it started with my husband where he was interested. And then I taught him how to get heart coherent, and he felt peace. And on that same day, essentially he feels as though it started pulling in he started manifesting just on that day. And every time he does it, he is manifesting something really, really cool. Now, with regards to our kids, specifically, I want to talk about Mateo. Mateo is my 11-year-old. And we have lived in this house for 3 years. And before moving here, we were in between homes because we sold our home up north, and then we were waiting for the home to be ready here in Southern California. So we lived in a hotel, and there was a pool, and unfortunately he almost drowned in that pool. So that created a lot of trauma. And then when we moved into this house that has a pool, we thought, okay, he's going to learn how to swim. And 3 years later, he still was not, he had so much fear that he wouldn't even put his face in the water when he would shower. That's how bad it was. And I used the technique, the heart coherence technique. And so I literally broke it down. I said, today we are going to learn how to swim. And so he even said, I don't want to do it so fast. I don't want to learn so fast. I don't want to no, I want to do everything really, really slow. And I said, sure, no problem. So I literally broke it down. Right before we went into the pool, we got heart coherent. As soon as we walked out, heart coherence. We dipped our feet in the water, heart coherence. Then we submerged, heart coherence. Literally every move. I said, okay, now heart coherence. Now put your face in the water. Boom. Then we took that, step by step. We went from looking at the pool all the way to submerging. And then he started floating, and then he started kicking, like literally swimming like that. And every moment, and even when he felt, every moment we got heart coherent, even when he said, I'm going to do it right now, I said, no, let's get heart coherent first. And he said,
tell me,
and I know when he's really in it.
Was this his first experience with coherence? Was you doing this with him, the swimming?
Yes.
So you waited for a teachable moment and then just decided to turn that into how to teach him to get heart coherent. So, and did you realize that the outcome could be him actually understanding that staying coherent would help him through an issue? Or was it just like a test for you? What was your initial?
Basically, I knew that I could get him to a point where he would be able to go into the water and submerge himself. I didn't think that it would go that far. I knew for me, the layover effect, the carryover effect that we have spoken about, where you do it every hour in the hour, is real. So therefore I thought, okay, well, today he's going to submerge, and then tomorrow we'll go back. And I was, to my surprise and delight, my heart was singing so profoundly that this guy was swimming in 30 minutes. He healed his fear through heart coherence.
Wow. Congratulations, first of all, because that's amazing. That's amazing. Can you tell us how, because I know, and this is kind of where the conversation has to go, because a lot of times for parents, it's hard to even talk to your kids. And I was thinking, littles is the word I used, I think in the title, is how to talk to your littles. And I'm thinking 0 to 7-year-olds. I'm thinking littles. And here you have this 11-year-old that's pre-puberty and all of these things, and has this fear and this probably, whatever word you would assign to that, even phobia maybe. And then all of a sudden you're just switching paradigms. Mm-hmm. Right? You're switching whatever you were talking to and trying to work him through this before. And I know a lot of times I can't even lie about it. I was never able to talk to my kids about things because I didn't know how. How did you make yourself available, or can you tell us what you did that would get you into a place where you were able to talk to your son about this? Was it just a relationship you had pre-set up, or were you just like, I'm all in and I'm going to take the deep dive?
Well, for a while now, my husband and I have always had this relationship with our kids where we say, your thoughts matter, you matter. You can certainly express if you're upset with me. I make mistakes, I will apologize. And so my older one, when he was going through his teenage phase, he was saying to me that his other friends were surprised when he would say, oh yeah, my mom, that was my mom too. She just called me, she apologized because we had, an argument this morning. And they would look at him like, what? She apologized. And so back then I was in my heart space. because being in your heart space, you don't feel any crunchiness or resistance. You own your stuff. And it's not about being responsible in the sense of like, I got you got to be responsible. You know, your thoughts are creating all this stuff. It's more of like you're responding from the timeless. So I'm a timeless being in my heart. And so we have always created this environment where we say, you know what, tell me, like, I need feedback. How am I doing as a parent? What am I doing wrong? How did I upset you? So we have already set that up in our family. And I had to get honest with myself and say, absolutely, I'm not perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that has honesty with my kids has been basically my wingman, has been the angel on my shoulder. Because when they feel the honesty, then they also are honest with me.
Right. Right. And I truly believe that's how this works. That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about what's happened since. What have you seen your son do since he learned heart coherence and he's traveling through this journey in a more coherent state than possibly he was before? What have you noticed? What have you witnessed?
So he went from swimming to now we have a small waterfall that has a ledge, and he now jumps into the pool, which is just what is in like, what are you doing? And he's doing handstands in the water. We've taken him to the community pool where it's deeper, no fear at all whatsoever. And there are times when I see him, he just, he bows his head a little, he just bows his head, and I see him placing his hand over his heart, and then he gets heart coherent. So he's been doing that. And then the other day, I saw him sitting in our family room on the couch, and he had his eyes closed and, his head bowed down, and he was holding onto his heart. And then I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to, join you. I'll just, get heart coherent too. And then when I felt that he was done, I asked him, so what was that all about? And he said, oh, I was actually having a conversation with my heart. I asked it 3 questions. And so it told me X, Y, Z. I can't remember. And I said, wow, that's amazing. And he said, yeah, Mom, my heart doesn't lie. So I just felt like, wow, he has his internal guidance system. He's aware of his own power within his heart. And he knows that the entry point is the breath and then the awareness.
And I've heard you tell stories before about him actually grabbing his friends.
Yes.
Can you tell us some of those stories?
Absolutely. So he has friends who are also boys, and you can imagine that boys, I'm going to call it squirrely. They're just all over the place. And sometimes they have moments, they're sort of like, it's not necessarily a tantrum, but they're just having a moment, a breakdown. We all have breakdowns. And so what I have heard from other parents is that he has taken his friends off to the side and started getting heart coherent with them by saying, okay, let's breathe. And he does the whole process where breathe. I'm not sure if he says heart because I'm not in that conversation, but he says, Mom, I get heart coherent with them. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want, I trust you. I know that you're doing it. And the parents are, come to me and they say, Mateo helped my kid. He calmed him down so much. He's doing that breathing. And I said, yeah, he's teaching him heart coherence. That's what I teach too. And so they just look at him like, wow, this kid who's just sprinkling and just, sprinkling heart coherence, around his friends. And it's amazing to see the synchronicity when there's play dates, literally just synchronicity. You could feel it. There's not squirrely and squirrely. There's just, they're playing well. They're coherent. There are times when there's maybe a little like, you have an opinion and they have an opinion, he has an opinion, and there's a little bit of a mismatch. And then it just automatically syncs up again.
That's incredible. And I think in the long run, like we were all taught to be in our brains, right? We were taught to be, sit down and think about it and think your way through it kind of stuff. And you know how I feel about that. I just think that's all wrong. I think to be heart coherent's a way easier way to navigate this life. If we had more of a force of kids teaching other kids, and even if the adults, right, if the parents were teaching their kids heart coherent ideas or how to get heart coherent and training them from a young age to walk in that, to stay like, this is how you operate. You learn things here that you can access and remember, but you want to operate and live your life from your heart space. What would that world look like to you? What would we create from that?
Everyone, it sounds easy, but everyone would get along. Everyone would understand. Everyone would come in tune with one another and not have to kind of like do that greedy grab. Like, I'm going to do it first, and then feel also like less than, like, oh, I can't do it. You go ahead and do it. Everyone will actually be able to manage their self-talk. As soon as they get into the heart, that self-talk of negativity will go away. And then that self-talk of spirit of, you could do it. And what's interesting is that in heart coherence, my son, my 11-year-old, said, I was just on YouTube and I came upon this video called The Power of Yet. And I said, oh, okay, what's that? And he said, The Power of Yet. I am not yet an artist, but I will get there. I am not yet XYZ. So he was doing some heart coherence before this. And then it's amazing what happens when they go out in the world and what they experience. And this is what has happened to my older one too. When he gets heart coherent, he'll call me from the road and he'll say, oh my gosh, this thing happened. I said, of course.
Well, let me ask you about that, because the older ones typically are harder. And I hear this from a lot of parents. They've got 20 somethings, or they've got, however old they are. And we hear so many bad things about millennials. We hear, it's just kind of weird, the stuff that you hear about the millennials. And there's both sides of the spectrum for sure. The people saying good things about them, people saying bad things about them. How did you get your 21-year-old to even listen to you, to be able to guide him through heart coherence? Because a lot of times these kids, they are trying to find themselves, and they're looking for their unicorn idea of who they are, their uniqueness and their specialness and their giftedness. How were you able to present this to your 21-year-old so he would hear it from you?
So I had to get heart coherent, and I had to stabilize my system so that I would think of it like a blanket, like as I would do this on purpose, get heart coherent and stand outside of his room, just breathing and breathing. And I definitely needed to do that so many times. And from there, I could slow down my reaction. I could even see myself or feel myself starting to say, you, and then I would go, you're amazing. I love you, rather than you didn't clean the mother effing room. I would just feel like, you're here, not about the room. Stay on focus. We're here to talk to him about, hey, what's going on? Are you feeling good, etc. So I had to stabilize the system. If I'm going to, teach this heart coherence, I can't not do it for myself. Right. I have to be that, and I have to embody it as much as I can, knowing that that is the tool to get into your own salvation. And that sounds big, but seriously, there's a lot of stress thought bubbles around here too. So I have to anchor it in within myself. So then from that heart space, I then go talk with him. And even in those crunchy moments, I will hug him. And I will absolutely, knowing that and feeling that I am heart coherent. And when he's feeling like, is this an intervention? Like he calls it intervention, of like, I'm here to tell you, or like, what's going on? Did you do, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
The intervention of, what are you doing with your life?
My
Anyhow,
son
so
always says, what do you want now?
yeah, exactly. Yesterday you wanted to do this, now you wanted to be this, and that's totally fine. But I would get heart coherent, then I would hug him, and I would basically line up my heart with his heart, and I would just breathe, and then I would get heart. I would just breathe into that hug, and it helps if you remember that they were babies once upon a time.
Oh,
It helps so much.
beautiful.
It helps. Then you talk to that person. And the first time I introduced heart coherence to my older one was when he was feeling like lost, and he said, I don't know if I want to do this or this. And it was causing a lot of feelings of resistance and just not being able to ground himself. And I said, okay, let's get heart coherent. We did that. I said, let's write down your questions, and then we're going to get heart coherent. And so we did that. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Beautiful. And then I said, now ask. Look at your questions. Which one? Which one should you do? And it was seamless. It was first 3 seconds. I know what I'm going to do. Boom. And I said, we're done. Thank you for participating. Now go clean your room.
Cleaned up. And I think this is like one of the most amazing things about being coherent in your system. And when you understand how the system works, is that for even a young person to know that they can go into their heart for answers, right? Because this is where your spirit lives. This is where that internal, eternal part of you resides. And if you get in connection to that part of you, instead of trying to find answers here, this is where everything starts to change. And I don't know, I think the more people that start to become aware of this and understand it and teach it to their kids, I think the faster this earth will get itself moving more in a coherent pattern. You know, we're out of coherence people-wise, in cities and states and countries, and the world is out of coherence. The more we individually, I believe, the more individually we get into coherence, the more the world is going to come back to its coherence. So I thank you for teaching this to your kids. I'm just fascinated listening to you about this stuff, because I don't really, I mean, I have my 27-year-old here, and he's kind of like got the pushback going on and has for a while. But when he does get coherent, he'll actually come up to me and ask me, can we sit down and do this? And he's got a brain injury. He's got some serious physiological problems. And he'll ask me, can you do some work for me? And I'll say, no, but I'll do it with you. We'll have to sit down but it's fascinating how fast, oh, this is what I should do. Because the spirit knows 100% of the time.
100%.
Yeah.
And
so I'm going to have, oh, go ahead.
And that's when you build trust within yourself. That's when you realize that you are your own guru.
Yes. Yes, that exactly. You know, and I think that's interesting too, because we search so hard for the next best thing. We're taught to do that. That's part of the old programming, is to go searching, and it's all, you know, and people will tell you this, it's all right inside of you. Mm-hmm. How, where, what? And I think this is it, heart coherent, and the words being coherent, you're getting your whole system coherent. It's not just your heart, your whole system comes into alignment. And it happens vicariously. If I'm in my heart, everything else starts to work the way it's supposed to. So, and there's a lot of science on this too. But we're not going to go into that today. Can you please tell us where people can find you if they're interested in what you're teaching on either Awoken TV or wanting private lessons or sessions or whatever? Can you tell people where to find you before we get off?
Of course, you could find me at Pendulum Lightworks, PENDULUMLIGHTWORKS, pendulumlightworks.com. You could find me at Awoken TV at Facebook as well. I'm on Facebook as well under Lalaine Moreira. And I think Christy might be able to copy and paste my name, but I'll spell it for you anyways. First name Lalaine, last name Moreira. So again, you can find me on Facebook. under that name, as well as Pendulum Lightworks on Instagram. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and then the Awoken TV channel on Facebook. And I'll be launching my courses very soon on the Awoken TV channel. So I'm very excited about that too.
And I've got about 2 minutes left. Can you quickly tell people what it is you do? So you got Pendulum Lightworks and then the TV
Yep.
channel. What is it you're doing?
Okay, so essentially, I am an energy coach. And what I do is I help people not only find their superpower, but I find their blocks that is preventing them from connecting with their superpower. And from that, I teach everyone very easy, simple tools. I do assign homework, so get ready for that, because without the homework, how are we supposed to create a cadence? How are we supposed to create a layover effect? And essentially what people will experience is from one session, you will absolutely feel a release of things, of blocks that you have had, that you have inherited, that, have created a wall around your heart, or that you have just essentially that an emotion was lodged into your system at an early age. So I help clear that from you, and I use my pendulum. I also am I come from a generation of intuitives. So I also use my clairaudience. So I hear things, and I always tell people I hear dead people, and I laugh, and then I say, well, that is right. We do hear dead people. Are they really dead? But anyhow, I hear spirit. So that's what I do.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. So if anybody's interested, look below. I'll have it posted below right after this process, and so you can find Lalaine's information. And I thank you for being here. I want to bless you. I view myself as light. I witness myself as light. I witness you as light. I bless me. I bless you. I love me. I love you. This is so amazing sitting here with you today. And I just thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for you, and you have impacted and changed my life and the life of my family and my community.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. We do have a few comments on here. I want to thank Allison for being in here. I didn't even see this until just now. She was like, yeah, be your own guru.
Yes.
Oh, walk us through a quick exercise. Can we take 5 minutes? Can you walk through a quick exercise? I don't know. There's 3 people watching. So I'm going to give the floor for another 3 or 4 minutes. We'll hang out here for another couple seconds. Go ahead and walk us through something.
All right, well, let's get heart coherent. So what I invite you to do is just close your eyes, or you could watch me, but it might be distracting, but just go ahead and close your eyes right now, and then just listen to my cues. What we want to do is take a deep inhale here through the nose, big, big, big inhalation. I'm going to call it 5 seconds. And then we want to exhale through the mouth. And I want you to really let it out. And we're going to call it for 7 seconds. So our exhalation needs to be longer than our inhalation, and just, follow my cue. So go ahead and close your eyes, and we begin here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Place your hands over the center of your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Now from this, just breathe normally, but softly, deeply, and steadily. And what we're doing here is we are calming down the nervous system. And with our hands over the center of our chest, let's be aware of our hearts. Put all of your focus on your heart. You may imagine the heart symbol. You may imagine the medical image of your heart. Whatever it is, it's perfect. So just keep on breathing here and focus on your heart, and notice the rise and fall of your chest. Just notice. Just keep on breathing. Now, I would like for you to imagine that your heart has a nose. And it's now breathing through the heart, inhaling and exhaling. Calming down the nervous system, informing the brain to calm down as well, informing the body that we are at peace. And just keep on breathing nice and slow this way. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me check back over there. Hopefully you saw that. Thank you for being here, everybody who is in here. And I bless everybody. One of the things I had said earlier is I witness you as light, or I witness me as light, I witness you as light. Start using those phrases when you get coherent. When I go in my heart space, one of the first things I say to myself, I witness myself as light, meaning this, and then I'm talking to my spirit, I witness you as light. So I'm witnessing my own spirit and I'm witnessing myself. And see if that helps. Sometimes that'll drive you deeper. It'll get you in there a little bit deeper than sometimes we get on the first couple tries. All right, check out Lalaine's work. Check out her stuff on Awoken TV, and I bless you, and we will see everybody again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.